Welcome back. It's, I don't know what episode, but it's NFL week 4, baby.
I would say it's like episode 100 at this point.
Yeah, I think we've done like 50.
Pretty much 2 years in.
2 years in, 750 subscribers.
I'm 3 days into college and I'm... Oh, wait, did I do it backwards?
I'm 2 days into college and I'm 3 lectures behind. There's this guy, let's name him Colin. He says he wants to be mine, but it doesn't really sit with me quite right because he doesn't really like the things that I like. And I keep accidentally locking something out of the door in the middle of the night. Yep.
That was impressive.
Thank
I
you.
never really memorized anything except for like the first 2 parts because that's all that was playing in my head.
Yeah, no, I love that song, and it's literally just because of
Jared McCain.
Yeah.
I love him.
If you have the misfortune of seeing what my knee looks like, because I hope we got it out of the camera. So Spencer forgot how to walk this week, aka I literally was like walking up the steps at work that I walk up. I've worked at the same place for 3 years now. Okay. And I literally just forgot about the stairs while I was talking to the little girl I nanny and literally fell like with a glass water bottle.
Did it break?
Yes. I fell like, it was like one of those things where it's like the flash. And I was like, what is happening right now? And I was in so much pain. And I literally, I don't want to show you because it's so disgusting. It's so gnarly.
It's really pretty.
I have a massive, like, this ouchie. It's a
boo-boo.
It's a bad one. On my knee, and it literally happened like through, I was wearing like joggers. It's rough. And
Thankfully, the pants are okay.
I also thought I broke my hip because I literally fell like this way and then on my hip, and then I like rolled into the grass, and the little girl I nanny was like, Spencer, are you okay? I was like, no, because I got like
actually not.
I got like the wind knocked out of me. So I really, really hope that you can see it, and I really hope we did a good job.
I think we did good.
Okay, good.
Yeah. You can probably see like my hairy legs. It's fine.
It's good. Oh yeah, twins.
Love that for us.
I
love taking care of myself.
I know. I'm so happy we're back together after our 2 weeks of remote. We're still working on that, everybody. And
I hate it.
The quality should be perfect by next week when we're doing it.
Yes. And here's the thing. I'm just working on convincing Spencer to move into my house.
Never gonna happen. Listen, I would have so much fun living here, and Kayla knows this. But when I tell you that if Satan can't convince me to go to hell, then neither can you. Okay? Arizona is like the purgatory in between here and hell. So.
Today is October 2nd. And it is 105 degrees today.
I think what most people also don't know, and I've told Caitlin this separately, is that I almost went to Arizona State University.
She should have.
Because they had a really good journalism program, and it was like a party school. It looks like a great time. And I would have literally died, or,
No, you wouldn't have.
Or I would have played Red Rover on the highway, because I'm telling you, I can't deal with the heat, and every time I step off the plane here, I just get a little angry, and then I see Caitlin. It's all fine, but
just a little angry,
just a little bitter at the sun. Not a big fan. I don't think people are meant to live here.
I don't know what you mean.
Anyway,
she messaged me or she texted me, and she was like you can't tell me that it's not mental illness.
Yeah,
like,
to live here,
and I was like, yeah, I literally moved here because I had mental illness. Mm-hmm. That is exactly why I came here.
Yeah, no. Arizona's weather is disgusting, but it's fine because every time I come here, we never leave. We just hang out here. Although we do have our event on Saturday, so we have to leave. So I definitely packed 2 things of deodorant, and
as you should. I've got a boob deodorant.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some of that. So anyway, the NFL. You know,
NFL Week 4.
You know, what's so funny is how we started last episode making, well, you know, it's not a light subject, all of the criminals in the NFL that are abusers, but, and then it came out that Von Miller is out for 4 games.
Guys, listen. Okay, so like,
can y'all stop?
I was telling Spencer that like Von Miller is one of my all-time favorite players, and we've talked about this before. How like it sucks like when you find out that your favorite athletes like
or someone you just love to watch in general. Yeah.
Yes, because like Von Miller has always been like one of my favorite players. He literally had like the most sacks for the Broncos. He was such a huge part of our Super Bowl team, and you know, years before and even a couple years after. And you know, he was on Dancing with the Stars, and I loved him, and he was always just like so fun and so cool, and like one of my favorite just like players and also like people. Yeah. And then like a couple years ago it came out, or even sometime last year it came out that he had like abused his pregnant girlfriend. And then it came out that it was all BS, and like they were just arguing, and she like blamed it on him or something like that, and he didn't actually like hurt her. So I was like, okay, maybe. And then now that he's like turning himself in, I'm like,
yeah, I guess what had happened is
What had happened
was there was like a disturbing call, and I guess she called 911. It was like, my boyfriend's abusing me. I'm pregnant. He's choking and like slapping me or something. But I do believe that she did say, as a lot of women in abusive relationships do, when they like aren't scared, they're like, oh no, like, he apologized. I don't know. But she did. I think she kept up with that it was like not true.
Yeah.
Even though she called 911 in the middle of it. Yeah. And so the NFL, I think what happened was the NFL did their own investigation of it.
Okay.
So
good for them.
Yeah.
Thank God.
For
so
once.
like,
but I mean,
where's Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, but you do your own investigation and you're only out for 4 games. Like, I think it's just a little hard being a women who love professional sports, like men's professional sports, like NFL and NBA. Yeah. And it like almost shows that they like don't care about us, because
for sure.
Like, what do you mean your player assaulted his pregnant girlfriend and he's out for 4 games? Learn your lesson.
See, like, and that's
Deshaun Watson has 30 cases against him, and everyone's like, he's a great guy. I'm so sorry that he's not playing better.
If I hear like Stephen A. Smith,
I literally
or
listened to it.
Guy,
yeah, after you told me about it, she told me, she was like, Stephen A. Smith. Oh, because I love Nightcap with Ocho and Shannon Sharp, and they were like, he's just such a stand-up guy, and I'm like, really? You should sit down, because so
stand up where?
So same thing like with Miles Bridges. So you will never hear me talking about people like that more than I have to, like on their athletic ability, unless it's like Deshaun Watson's getting sacked, because of, as you should. So
yes, yeah. I mean, I think like as 2 women, both who have gone through some things with men in the past, you know, it hits close to home.
Yeah,
having dealt with horrible men in the past before. And we just don't want to give them any of like, you don't get positive accolades from us. Like, I don't care. I'm sorry.
I don't forgive you after you had a 4-game suspension, because
yeah. So we just, we won't be talking about them. Like, you know, we're not going to go into detail about how they play. We're going to, we'll tell you how many times Deshaun Watson gets sacked.
I made a joke about it last week. It is sadly the case.
Yes. Unfortunately, but
anyway, Caitlin, I had a great week. You want to know why?
Tell me why.
Because, and we're not going to talk about college football today because we like have shit to do. But I had the best week because the Cowboys won, the Broncos won, the Colorado Buffs won, who I have become attached to living in Colorado, and I love Deion Sanders, one of my favorite players. Love him, and I love Shador, and I love Travis Hunter. So the Buffs won. Kentucky upset Ole Miss.
Love.
And one of my my friend's brother that's on the team had several insane catches.
Did he?
He did. He had a touchdown. I think he had like the first touchdown, but I could be wrong. Yeah, it was
good for him.
It was awesome. So good. And then Alabama won. And my dad's from Alabama. I was raised an Alabama fan. I have pictures. I posted one, if you follow me on socials, of my dad and I like years and years ago. And I would have gone there. ended up going to Kentucky, but Alabama still I'm sure a lot of you the teams that your parents liked. So
of course.
My dad and I are big college football fans, big SEC fans, and we were texting each other during the whole game, and it was so
Did I
good.
ever tell you that my mom went to CU for 1 year and then got too scared and came home?
Got too scared about what?
She's like a really big nerd, and so then she was a valedictorian. Sorry, Mom, I know you're watching this, but she was like a really big nerd, and she was a valedictorian, and grew up in like a small school and blah blah blah. And then she like went to CU where it was like a crazy ass party school with like drugs and stuff, and she was like,
not for me.
no thanks. But
I'm worried.
that was also like a few years ago, right, Mom? She's like 40.
Yeah, what, like 2 years ago? Right?
Yeah.
3? Looking good.
Yeah.
Looking good, feeling better.
Yes, exactly.
So we're going to start off, of course, with NFL Week 4 with Thursday night, which was the Cowboys, who now get I guess they want to call it like a mini bye because they played Thursday and then they don't have to play till this Sunday. So they get like a week and a half, 9 days off or whatever, something like that. So Cowboys win against the Giants 20-15. Am I excited that they won? Yes. Did they look amazing?
I literally put this is my first bullet point. Cowboys won, but still didn't look great.
Did not look great
because it was against the Giants. That's the hard part is when it's 20-15 against like the Giants.
And when Malik Neighbors goes out, like you. So, fun fact though, Cowboys have beat the Giants 14 out of their 15 last matchups.
Wow.
So it would have been extra embarrassing if they had lost. I mean, listen, the offense, is okay because Dak is amazing and CeeDee Lamb are amazing.
Yeah, Dak had a great game.
22 of 27 for 221 yards. CeeDee had a touchdown, 7 catches for 98 yards. I had put in there though
498 yards.
No, he 7 catches, 498. Did I not? Does that make sense?
Yes, 498.
For 98. Yeah. Well, I was going to say he hasn't had an 100-yard game yet. So this season. Wow. So right now he is 7th in the league, like leading, and I think Justin Jefferson's like up there, of
Sounds
course.
right.
Yeah. I had them list, but so Brandon Aubrey kicked a 16-40-yarder. I just have to say, Brandon Aubrey is the Steph Curry of NFL kickers.
He's impressive.
He's insane. He had his first miss last week. Like he's so insane. We're going to do a little preview about matchups. So I'm like reading off my bullet points first. Micah Parsons is out. A few other people are out. So Cowboys, I wouldn't say we're screwed.
They're a little injured.
Necessarily. But I will.
I was literally just talking to someone about how like I really feel like there's just like so many injuries so early on.
Everywhere.
And whether they're like big names, like George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, etc.
It's
or
crazy.
or just like literally like
Rashee Rice.
Yes, small, like even just like some linemen and stuff like that. Like some teams have like 3 linemen out.
It's in like, again, they're not the huge names.
Again,
because
they're
usually
a huge part of
usually
your
they'll
team.
just talk like, oh, their O-line is injured or their D-line, they're missing some pieces. You don't hear their names as much.
Yep.
So you don't, I guess, think it matters as much.
Yep.
But a big thing, so the Giants scored to fail a touchdown, or scored to fail? Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Dyslexia. I actually don't have that. My brother does. Anyway, Giants failed to score a touchdown at home for the second straight game. So
that's what I was gonna say. Is that 5 field goals is crazy.
Listen,
work.
I think what is most embarrassing for New York is that you weren't able to run against the league's worst rush defense.
Yeah.
No,
that's so valid.
As I say every week, Dallas can't run the ball and they can't stop the other team from running the ball.
Yeah.
So Dallas has been giving up an average of 185.7 yards on the ground.
Delicious.
Held the Giants to 26 yards on 24 carries, a 1.1 yard average. So I bet that defensive coordinator had a fun call the next day.
I can't even believe that. That's just like, I feel like the whole game was just like it felt so slow. And like for me, like the eye test, that's why I said like the Cowboys won, but they like still didn't look great. Like obviously the Giants looked like way worse. No Sariba, they were looking a little rough over there. Why did I turn into like a New York old man?
I feel like that's your go-to.
I'm walking here. I'm walking here. Exactly.
I feel like your name is like Betty.
I think it is. Antonio from New York.
It's from New York.
I don't know. Okay, I'm bad at accents. Don't ever make me.
Well,
do
we're
an
talking
accent.
about the New York Giants, so it's fitting.
Honestly, so true.
You're so
speaking
good.
of the New York Giants, Greg Joseph, their kicker. If you guys want to pick him up on fantasy, since they don't know how to score, he had 19 fantasy points last game, which is like double for what most kickers go for. So. That's 5 field goals, baby.
Yeah. I will say Malik Neighbors is
great.
Insane. I feel really bad that he's out with a concussion.
Yeah.
But in the game, he was still found 12 times for 115 yards. And then Dale Robinson, I hope that's how you say his name, was 11 times for 71 yards. So the thing was, like, he was completing passes. You know, he threw for 281 yards. They just couldn't get to the end zone. I felt like they were getting so close, and then they would do something stupid.
Another team like that, last week or whatever.
A lot.
But yeah.
It seems like no one can get in the end zone this year.
Totally.
Like I said, it's the year of the kicker.
A lot of good red zone defense, I feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a tough game. But I hope the Cowboys maybe, like I said, the Cowboys have all the pieces. They really just need to put it together. They have some of literally the best players.
All the pieces.
A lot of the pieces.
Considering we could have had Derrick Henry.
Did I break the fourth wall? Is this how you do that? Is that what they say?
Listen. The fact that I was like so high on Rico Dowdle.
I thought you were just saying you were so high. I was like, what?
No,
What?
not my thing. No, they have been so underwhelming. Like severely underwhelming. Rico did better-ish. Like he still didn't have some fantastic game. He at least, managed to get somewhere, but you're playing against the Giants. So does that mean anything? I don't think so, really.
I feel like to me, he's a very inconsistent player. Like he shows flashes of like how good he can be. But other than that, he's very underwhelming.
I hated it. I hated it so much because you could, like, we all saw, and we'll talk about what Derrick Henry did. Like, he's incredible.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were wondering if it's because you have someone like Dak who you have to pay a ton of money and someone like CD, and then you have to keep their egos. And if you're feeding CD the ball, but now you have Brandon Cooks out, so you only have CD Lamb this next week, and you have no run game. Like, so you have literally two guys that are supposed. Your rush defense is bad, so Dak and CD to save the day. Okay,
they'll do it. They'll do so good.
I don't know. Listen, Kaylin knows this. I think both of us, we are not afraid to, what is it? Like tough love on the team. Like, just because you're my team, I'm not about to blow smoke up your ass. So sorry.
Nope. I like to admit when my players kind of suck or could do better.
Exactly. Especially when you know how good a team could be and when you see just terrible decisions being made.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
They were disappointing.
Yeah.
Even though they won, I'm glad they won, but we're 2-2. But of course, they don't look great. They don't look like a team that's going to go anywhere in the playoffs.
Which is crazy to me because I could have sworn it was their year.
Well, you have Deron Bland out. You have Micah Parsons out now. You have Brandon Cooks out. You have blah, blah, blah. Lawrence is out. Like everyone's out. I can't.
Yep. Like I said, man, it's the
year of the
kicker and the year of the injury.
The year of the injury. It'll be interesting to see who wins the Super Bowl this year. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm flashing my knee. I'm so sorry, guys.
Oh my God. We will literally.
I don't even know if I can edit that out. I'm so sorry if you saw that. But if you were looking at my knees instead of our faces while we were talking, I think that's your problem anyway.
Period.
On to another game where it felt like only one part of the team won.
Listen.
But they won.
Listen, again, same as Spencer, same as the Cowboys. 10-9, Broncos, Jets. It was a slow game. And you know what? I want to say this because both sides said this, the Jets and the Broncos. Said it was like one of the hardest games, like condition-wise, that they've played in. It was dumping rain. They had hurricane rains and winds like the whole game.
Yeah.
Or like hurricane residual up in New York and stuff, or New Jersey, wherever the Jets play. So I will say that like the very low scoring part of the game probably did have to do some with the fact that it was pouring rain and it was 55 degrees and that's freezing. That feels really cold. So sure, we'll blame a little bit on that. But other than that, it was a very slow game. Broncos have a top 2 defense in the league and they are not 2. That's all I'm going to say. Their defense is terrifying.
I wouldn't go that far, but I would.
I would.
You're gonna put them number 1. Didn't we just say we're not delusional and we're not blaming?
No, I literally said the other day, I just wanted to use that top 2 and they're not 2. I've never used it before.
I will say though,
I think that they're like top 3 though, legit defense wise. I would say that they're 3. Okay, that's valid.
But again, I would love to see how good the team would be if they had an averagely good defense.
Yes.
I mean, my first note is literally Denver defense is built different. 5 sacks on Aaron frickin' Rodgers.
They made Aaron Rodgers look like a child.
They had 5 false starts.
Yep.
Well, we'll get into the offense, but yeah, the defense has looked throughout every single game so far.
Yes.
Pretty dang amazing, especially against like Seahawks. But
I am so proud of myself. I literally put Broncos defense is top 2 and they're not 2. I really wanted to say that and I'm so proud of me. I love that. Go me. Okay, well, sorry.
I think a lot of us too, like we're worried with Singletary being out.
Yeah.
About what the defense would look like because it does seem like he leads a lot of it.
Yeah.
And he does play or he's the defensive, like he relays
leader,
the plays or whatever to the defense.
Yep.
So they looked amazing.
They looked so good. And they also, like, not to mention with their 5 sacks, obviously they also had 14 total QB hits. And that's next to the Jets 2. The Jets had 2 QB hits. And they were not even considered sacks. They had 0 sacks on Bo Nix. And so I'm like, that's like 14 QB hits is amazing. And like I just feel like they've been playing a lot better pass defense and a lot better run defense as well. Like they've just kind of been all over the place. Like the defense is hard to get through.
Yeah. And I think, the Jets defense is pretty good.
It is. Yeah.
But
what?
Bo Nix, like he scares me.
I'm still not out on Bo Nix yet. I know a lot of
people
are.
I'm not out on him. He just looks like so young. I know he is.
He does.
He just, I don't know. I just hate it because yes, he did get his first passing touchdown. Kudos to him. But he just does not look good. And again, the conditions were bad. And again, you're learning. And even who was talking about it? Derrick Henry was talking about it pretty recently that college and the NFL are night and day. And he said the closest you get to the NFL play is in the SEC, but it's still, he said, night and day. So
that's why I was saying, like, I feel like it's so hard. You think about, like, you take Bo Nix. I
think I hate that he's our only option since he's brand new. Does that make sense? Like, I just wish... and I don't know how you get better if you're not playing because I don't think you get better just by watching, of course. But I do hate that, like, we have this awesome defense and we have it feels like he's like Bambi.
Yeah, he is. No, and he's like, the thing about him is that, like, when I, like, watch him, like, you can see that, like, he knows what he's doing, but then he doesn't execute on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he, like what I was gonna say is
what
that, like,
he sees doesn't happen.
Yeah,
like
that's what I was gonna say. Just about yes, that's what I was gonna say about myself. I'm always right in my head. My execution, not that great. Okay, always wrong out loud, always right in my head. I swear. But like with him or whatever, like I feel like he knows what to do. Okay, like I feel like he's one of those guys that like he's got such good like football IQ.
Yeah,
he knows
like his instincts.
Yes, he's such a good like football mind. He knows how to play the game. We saw him in preseason and everything like that. We saw him make those decisions, make those fast decisions. But like you watch him, and the reason that like I'm not really terrified about him yet, and I feel like it's really just like maybe still like a little bit more of an offense as a whole, trying to get it together. Again, he is Cortland Sutton's 14th quarterback. 14th. And that's like a lot of the same guys, Marvin Mims, Jaleel McLaughlin, and everything like that. Like that's a lot of the guys have been here. Javonte Williams, they've all been here for years. And so they're all dealing with different quarterbacks too.
Every single year.
Yes.
Yeah. You're bringing someone new and like, maybe he'll work.
Exactly. And so I think they're like
Try
really
him.
Exactly. So I think they're really trying to like stick with Bo and just rock with it so that they can build that team chemistry because they've never had that opportunity. Because why I was going to say that is that Bo Nix has only gotten sacked like twice.
Yeah.
Which is like crazy. And a lot of that, of course, is the O-line. They've been decent, but we actually have a pretty injured O-line. And he's just like, he's someone that is so smart. He knows how to roll out of the pocket. He's a great like rushing quarterback. He knows when it's his time to run and he doesn't have anyone open. I feel like there's just like pieces that need to be put together.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I feel like certain things he's like ready and looking good. Like I said, like rolling out of the pocket, scrambling. He looks really good when he does that stuff. He's able to avoid defenders. He sees a blitz and he can run out of that. You know, like I see that with him and I love it.
I mean, he's not like some insane rushing quarterback, like which would be helpful with the fact that we also don't have the best like RB depth
Runners,
right now. Yeah, our RB room is not great, just like the Cowboys. So I think it does, you know, I was listening and Jesus Christ. It's been a long day. Talking about how Shador is like a pocket passer. He is like that Tom Brady wants to step back and just
pass
throw.
while he's in the pocket.
Yes, pass while he's in the pocket. He wants to have that time. You know,
he wants to wait for a play and make a play.
Tom Brady's not Lamar Jackson. Yeah, he's not going and like he's like, oh well, time to go run it myself.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, some of those guys.
I just think that Bo Nix also is not that like big, like you know, Lamar Jackson's like tough.
That's what I'm saying with like Bo Nix, like he does well behind the line. Like, you know, like he
usually looks calm in the pocket. I think his issue lately is he's not dealing with the third string coverage and he's now dealing with the first string coverage.
Of course, yeah.
And so a usual guy that had or that he would have just one person on someone in preseason because it's preseason.
Yep.
Now you're throwing to like, you know, Cortland Sutton, who usually is going to have like, you know, double coverage or someone's got two guys on him and he's throwing to them.
You've got safeties being deep waiting for Cortland.
Yeah, so it's just, it's like some of the decisions just haven't been great. He doesn't look great.
And again, I was actually going to say that like
bad conditions. So.
It was, yes. And I was actually going to say they got really smart in like the second half and they started utilizing the run a little bit more. And they used Mims and Bidet and they both got hurt. And by the way, I thought it was Batty and then I thought it was Beatty. Apparently it's Bidet. He corrected everyone.
They kept saying Bidet, and that's so funny because
everyone.
Kristen and I were like, "Is his name Bidet?"
Yeah, he said that he literally changed the pronunciation.
Batty.
Right? He said he changed the pronunciation of his last name because of like some familial stuff, and he just didn't want to be like associated with like that version of his last name.
Oh,
yeah.
So he made it Bidet himself.
I don't know why.
Okay.
But that's his thing, so it's Bidet.
I would just change my last name, I feel like.
Yeah, literally same. But like, so this is what I thought was really weird is that, so both of them got hurt, right? Okay, so like that sucks. But like Javonte Williams did really good and Jaleel McLaughlin both averaged about 5 yards per run, which is double of what they had been doing. The Broncos had only been, I know that that's sad, but that's huge though.
Both of my teams are like the worst right now with the run game. So
we were averaging 2.3 yards
lock it up
per
and
run.
throw away the game.
So 5.5 yards per run is huge for us. It's an improvement.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I will take any improvement on a team with a rookie quarterback.
I think what else is crazy to me about that game, moving on from, you know, the team that we both love, is last week we talked about how good Aaron Rodgers looked, and he did not.
And I think a lot of that has to do with our defense, though, because like I feel
of course. I'm just saying, like it was crazy how great he looked, and then you know he threw for just 225. So Breece Hall had only 4 yards on 10 carries. The whole team didn't look good.
No team looked good.
The Jets committed 13 penalties,
and the Broncos only had 5, which I just want to say is like huge. For the past few years, the Broncos have been committing like 10 plus penalties a game.
You know, what was cracking me up was that I was trying to find like the passing stats and things like that. And someone, I had to write it down. So they said, sure, it was raining, but that can't possibly be an excuse for an offense that looked like a remnant of their old, ugly Zach Wilson days.
That's valid. Was Zach Wilson on the sideline? Maybe that's what maybe he brought that in.
That was cracking me up. I was like, oh, how awkward that he's on the sideline. And
Oopsie.
So yeah, I think it looked weird. And then I texted Caitlin because the head coach and Aaron Rodgers like both said weird things.
There's some animosity.
Yeah.
The boys are fighting.
Yeah.
Uncomfy.
The Jets head coach said something about it being the cadence, which if you know football, that's talking about kind of like the quarterback calling the play that's happening. So you're basically saying there's something wrong with the quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. And then Aaron Rodgers went up and looked pissed and was like, we haven't had any false starts, because they had 5, I think I said 5 false starts. He was like, we haven't had any of those in practice. So, I think we just need to hold people accountable. I don't think there's any, we've never had an issue before today with the cadence. I was like,
I just feel like
it's so awkward when the quarterbacks get older, because then they're closer to the coach's age. So then they're just like doing their annoying ego thing.
I was gonna say there's like a hard what's the word I'm looking for? Like a hard line between like them being your superior and then you thinking that you're on the same level as them. They are still your coach, even if they were younger than you, Mike McDaniel or some of the other really young coaches in the league. They're still your coach. Like, they're the one that was hired to coach you. And yes, obviously you have like, you have experience.
We get you have your
yes, and you're Aaron Rodgers. Like, there's
you're not Tom Brady though.
Yeah. Peyton Manning, nope, not him either. Joe Montana, you're Aaron Rodgers.
Tore your ACL or Achilles or whatever it was in like one snap.
I don't know. I thought the game as a whole was so weird. Obviously, oh my God, we didn't even talk about how the fact that the Broncos only won because the Jets kicker missed a field goal at the end.
Okay, so Caitlin was putting her youngest daughter down. She was like, "Oh my God, like what's happening?" And I'm like, "Caitlin." At first, I go, "We're gonna win this game," because we were setting up for a field goal. And then I was getting all nervous though, because everyone was getting excited, and I'm like, "Okay, you don't want to give Aaron Rodgers too much time, because as bad as they played, it's the same thing like with Pat Mahomes.
They can make it happen.
You don't want to give people like that too much time." So we miss our field goal, and I'm like, it's over. And the part of the reason we missed our field goal was because Riley Moss had another annoying penalty.
Riley,
do better.
He had several that put us in really bad positions.
So they moved back the field goal attempt, and then we missed it. And then Jets get close enough. I'm like, oh my gosh, Riley Moss lost us this game. I'm so angry. And then they were, I think it was a 50-yard attempt, and they lost. So basically the last part of the game didn't matter, because nothing happened.
Yep. And that's how we won. So it was a rough game.
A lot of people said Bo Nix failed upwards.
That's valid. He did have -7 yards.
I just wish,
-7 rushing yards.
It sucks because, the Saints offense puts up 47 points or whatever through or 90 points through 2 games, and everyone's like, the Saints offense is amazing. And I'm like, okay, but the Broncos defense just destroyed Aaron Rodgers, and we went to Seattle and barely, but it's because we lost. But anyway.
Yes. Here's the thing is like,
I'm going to tell you, Broncos defense, that you're doing a great job, and I'm so proud of you.
Period. Same.
I hope your mom said the same thing.
I also said, I tweeted this. I said that I have a betting hack for you all. Always bet the under on Broncos games, because the Broncos defense is so good that the other team can't score a lot. But our offense is so bad that neither can we.
We won't be scoring either.
So, like, it's always a safe bet to bet the under. Don't actually, please. I don't want to, like, lose you any money. But, like, seriously.
Speaking of another team the Broncos beat, the Bucs. So the Eagles and the Bucs played, and the Bucs turned it around after they did terrible last week.
They came out of nowhere.
The Eagles really just don't look great, and you have Saquon Barkley. I know I'm supposed to hate the Eagles, but I really like Jalen Hurts because he played for Alabama, and I really love Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
So you can't hate me. I follow Alabama players everywhere, same as Derrick Henry, and he's in the Ravens, who I'm also supposed to hate. So anyway, so listen, the Eagles don't have AJ Brown, and they don't have Devontae Smith. But they gave up 4, like their offensive injuries don't have anything to do with the defense.
No.
And they gave up 445 yards and let the Bucs score touchdowns on 3 of their first 4 drives.
33 points, them not being able to hold the Buccaneers, or them like letting the Buccaneers score 33 points is pretty crazy.
Their coverage is awful.
It's so bad.
I was watching Nightcap and because they had Dion on after or the day after, I think, the Colorado game, and they were like talking about some of the games, and it's like the first thing you learn in football, it's like the most basic things, like you want to protect your quarterback, and like protect the run, open up the run, and then on the other end, you want to get their quarterback and you want to stop their run. Pretty simple as that. Yeah, they can't get any pressure. Baker Mayfield threw for 347 yards.
That's crazy.
And like this is a team that was just, like in dynasty talks, you know what I mean? And I know you lost Jason Kelsey, so you've got a new young O-line, but again, that's like I didn't realize the defense was going to be bad. They did bring in, and I think everyone kind of notices how a lot of these teams do look bad with all these new coordinators. And I guess because, again, it's a new defense. They have new ideas.
They're learning everything.
They're
learning
new. That team's, it's all different. So they brought in Vic Fangio. And
he was our old coach.
Well, he looks like the Eagles have one of the worst defenses in the league. Like, it's bad.
Doesn't it make sense?
Like, if you can't pressure the cornerback, what is the point of your defensive scheme? Like, like, what are we doing here? They have 6 sacks this season in 4 games after they had 2
That's crazy.
After the 2 they had on Sunday. I don't understand. Yeah.
I feel like it was just like overall a really weird game. I wasn't prepared for the Bucs to go and just like annihilate the Eagles. I thought that it would be like a pretty evenly matched game, and to hold the Eagles when you have someone like Jayden Hurts, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
And just like even the Buccaneers, who don't normally have like the best defense ever, to hold the Eagles like Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley and all of them like to 16 points is
impressive.
It's pretty crazy.
It's impressive. I hate to say it, Baker Mayfield has looked,
he's looked really good.
Incredible. Incredible. I'm sure the Browns are
kicking
crying,
themselves.
crying, throwing things. He's got like 2 really good receivers. He's got a good line. They have like a strong rushing attack. A dangerous defense. Most of the time. So they're a decent team. Got lucky. They played really bad against us, but they're
so
good.
Lucky.
Yeah, we got lucky. But they have like all the ingredients for the Bucs to be a real playoff threat. So I think Baker Mayfield looks really good, and he looks not like totally back to that number 1 pick that he was 6 years ago, but I think he looks really good.
I think he's on his way.
I think last week was an outlier, but they like came back, and a lot of teams are embarrassing the Eagles. They don't look good.
Yeah, the Eagles.
It doesn't look good at all for them.
The Eagles are. I
don't know what they're doing.
The Eagles playing the way they've played this year was like not on my bingo card.
No, I think I'm pretty sure when we were doing our little predictions or NFL preview that I was talking about, they were going to be one of the the top. So a team that is in the top right now that isn't getting enough credit, and that I think people assume, because they know NBA Spencer on Twitter, I hate the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like, with a passion. So sorry. Not really. But I love, on the other end, the Vikings. I am obsessed. As soon as and Caitlin and I will preach this from both sides, because she's this way with the NBA. As soon as I get attached to a team or a player, I love to watch them. Yep. So again, like the 49ers can't stop. I love so many of the players on their team. I love the Vikings. I love Sam Darnold as the quarterback right now. I love his connection. We've talked about it to Justin Jefferson. I love the Vikings defense. They are so dang good. I will say this game was so fun to watch at first, and then it became a nail biter. So I originally thought the game was going to be close. The Packers started off looking like hot garbage. Not even hot garbage.
I didn't know, like, when I was picking my teams, I did not know. Like, I picked the Vikings to like barely win. Like in my head, I was like,
you lose your quarterback barely before season starts. You don't expect the backup to come in and save the day.
Yep. Well, and then of course, then they get Jordan Love back this game.
So Vikings have trailed for less than 3.5 minutes the entire season.
That's impressive.
Isn't that impressive?
Yeah.
And they've
just been so dominant.
They've been so dominant, and the people are not like, I'm so tired of the Chiefs. We'll get to them in a minute. But Jordan Love did come back, and I'm happy for him because I was really sad for him at first. So he came back quickly. He threw for 389 yards and 4 touchdowns. I'm sure most of that
was in the fourth quarter.
In the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, third and fourth.
Yeah, when I go and watch with my friend, we have like the Broncos on the big screen, and then I have my iPad and I have my YouTube TV with my like a little NFL Sunday ticket, and I watch 4 games.
Cute.
But I was mainly I had one headphone and I was listening to the Vikings game, and that was the game that I was focusing on the most, like besides the Broncos. And yeah, so the Packers didn't come out to play, it felt like, until halftime.
They were getting smashed.
I mean, Jordan Love did
in the first half.
He did throw, for 389 yards and 4 touchdowns, which is his career high, by the way. But he also threw 3 interceptions, and he was 32-54. So he was throwing a lot.
Yes. And
they tried to do like an onside kick at the end to come back because obviously they were down 2 points.
They did. What was the final score?
31-29.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. It was just like a couple points.
But Minnesota had 4 touchdowns in the first quarter and a half. Like they had 3 touchdowns in the first quarter, and then they literally immediately got and they got lucky. They had like an interception. They had a fumble recovery, I think.
Green Bay flipped it around though.
They were done. They had there were 7 turnovers, and then on the other end, Minnesota started getting sloppy towards the end.
That's what I'm saying.
So Packers had 4 turnovers, which it feels like the game flip flopped, and Minnesota led the first and Green Bay led the second. It just they were too far behind. Yep. But Darnold, he's just been so accurate. He was 20 of 28 for 275, but he threw an interception and lost a fumble, and that's when Minnesota. That's when the Packers started, I think, getting.
They took advantage of
that. They took advantage, which is important if you're down, and we'll talk about the Bills because that's something they didn't do. But yes, I did have it. I knew I had it written down.
You're so smart.
Vikings were 28-0 in the first 25 minutes of the game. So I was texting Caitlin. I was like, "This game is insane."
That's what I was saying. Is like that they truly the first half they were just so dominant.
It's both sides of the damn ball.
Yes, defense, offense, everything.
Kevin O'Connell, their head coach, has been doing amazing. Their defensive coordinator, again, I think was it Brock Purdy? I think that came out and was like, amazing schemes.
Yeah, we love this
Brian
guy.
Flores, you will hear if you watch a game of the Vikings, if you haven't yet, they will talk about him all the time.
You need to sit down and watch the Vikings play because I truly feel like we're such a sleeper team. I definitely wasn't expecting it. I mean, I knew that Sam Darnold was gonna still be their starting quarterback.
Yes.
But they had JJ McCarthy and they were planning on, letting JJ McCarthy learn and play and stuff like that. And I did not expect the Vikings to come out the way that they did this season and just absolutely annihilate the league. I feel like they've been.
I love this for Sam Darnold.
Me too.
I think he looks incredible, and I think
he deserves that.
And I don't think he's just a filler. I think he should be starting somewhere. Yeah, either
Oh, so true.
I didn't see JJ McCarthy. I don't know much about him, so I don't.
I saw his combine stuff and some of his college film and everything like that.
But I guess if he was supposed to start, I'm over him. I'm sure he's great. Or who knows it? Maybe it just needed Sam Darnold to have that start to show how great he is. But he, I wouldn't change anything.
I wouldn't either. It's
is JJ McCarthy out the whole season?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He got a full.
I love that for Sam Darnold.
He got a full reconstructive surgery on his ACL. He said that he had knee soreness, and they did an MRI, and they were like, "Oh, honey."
I think my favorite thing, and I again, I won't stop talking about the Vikings defense, because if you watch the game, their defense doesn't look like it has anything that you can solve, if that makes sense. It's constantly changing. There's no rhythm that they follow into.
They change it the entire game.
It literally looks like a problem that you will never be able to solve.
And can I tell you that that's actually exactly, and when I was watching the Vikings game, that's they were showing how many run and how many pass plays that they were like doing and stuff like that. So like even on their offense, it's the exact same way. And I feel like they do that for a reason, because that was kind of the Saints' problem, was that like the Saints had this perfect offensive scheme and then someone came and figured it out.
How are you going to game plan against a team that it changes
it every play?
Like every play. You can't. It's like, it's what we thought Clint Kubiak was doing.
Yes.
Poor guy. I'm so sorry they figured you out, but I don't know how you figure this out. And it did seem like they were getting closer towards the end, but then the Packers kept shooting themselves in the foot. They couldn't capitalize on like the mistakes. It was mainly, I felt like the mistakes the offense was doing. Because I feel like their offense is similar. Like their offense, the Vikings offense also looks very, very different. It's insane.
I agree.
But yeah, I don't know. They had a lot of penalties, a lot of drops over there in Green Bay.
Over there in Green Bay.
Were they? I don't even know if they were playing in Green Bay or not. But
they were. Yep. It was Jordan Love's like first game like back in home and stuff like that. And I just like real quick want to shout out Malik Willis, because a lot of people are sleeping on him, but like the fact that the Packers are 2-2 right now, and the 2 games that they lost, Jordan Love was the quarterback, and the 2 games that they won was when Malik Willis was the quarterback. And I don't want to say that that's like a quarterback thing, but like I think that a lot of people are like completely skipping over the fact that Malik Willis was able to come and help give them 2 wins. And they're 2 totally different quarterbacks. Jordan Love is a really big passing quarterback. As you heard, he was throwing 50 passes. Malik Willis is like a really big, he rushes, he utilizes the run game a lot more. He's a good like scrambling type quarterback. He does more short passes. And so it's just kind of like a totally different quarterback, and you have to utilize him differently. And they did that. The Packers coaches knew how to utilize him, and they made that change for him, and they won 2 games while Jordan Love was out. And so I think that he's underappreciated. So
I agree. I know I had a few player highlights, like speaking of people that have done well. So former Packers running back this game for the Vikings. So he's playing. Aaron Jones had 22 carries for 93 yards.
He's so good.
And 4 catches for 46 yards in his return to Lambeau Field. So they were at Green Bay.
Did you see him like with all of like their fans?
No.
All of their fans after the game, he like jumped in the stands and took pictures with some fans. It was so cute.
So he was with Green Bay for 7 seasons, which is a very long time in the NFL.
Especially in the NFL.
And, he signed with the Vikings in March. So Jones said he would do a Lambeau leap into the stands if he scored a touchdown, which he didn't get a touchdown. No. So he didn't get to the end zone, but he still leaped into a section of Vikings fans in the stands on his way to the locker room. And so I guess
so sweet.
As they were taking the last kneel, the Packers defense, they were like, oh, we didn't let you get the Lambeau leap in here. And we didn't let you Lambeau leap in our house. And he said, you guys are worried about me Lambeau leaping? You guys should be worried about the score.
Stop.
He said to the media, he said, I came here and got what I wanted, but I did get my Lambeau leap in. So I got a 2 for 1. Period. He just didn't get it after a touchdown.
That's okay.
Yeah. So Minnesota scored on each of its first 3 possessions. Secondary looked awful because they were missing a lot of people. The Vikings led 28-7 and had a second one from the Green Bay 20 in the third quarter when Xavier McKinney picked off Darnold. He is the first Packer to intercept a pass in each of his first 4 games with the team. And I think when I was looking up the leaders, I think he's number 1 right now in interceptions.
What does he have?
So
I have no idea who I was thinking.
So Xavier McKinney is number 1. He has 4 interceptions for Green Bay. Kirby Joseph for Detroit has 3. Then Tyrann Mathieu has 2.
That's so dope.
Fred Warner has 2. I love Fred Warner. So Tyrann Mathieu, Camu Grugier-Hill of Minnesota. Grugier-Hill.
That's good. That's my favorite.
Why do I always have to say the terrible names? I feel like you never do. Anyway,
I refuse to type terrible names.
And Fred Warner, they're all tied for 3rd. But yeah, so Xavier McKinney, keeping it real, buddy.
Crushing it, baby.
Crushing it.
Yeah, incredible.
Was mad about this game, and I was watching some of it.
Which game?
And I feel like you were paying attention more than I was to this game.
Okay.
Which was good. Because I love when we text each other and I'm watching like
one game, yeah.
And so Steelers and Colts.
Oh, yeah.
Because I thought the Steelers were gonna win. And I thought I bet the under.
I did too.
Because the Steelers have a top defense.
They do.
Talk to the Broncos, baby.
They've allowed.
Even though they beat us. So I guess.
So with the Steelers and the Colts, The Steelers had not allowed more than 10 points per game this season at all. Okay? And they were like a great offensive team. They've been a great offensive team. You have Justin Fields. We were literally just talking about how when Russell Wilson comes back, he should not be the starting quarterback. Yeah, exactly. And it's not, it's not that he's awful or anything, but it's just that Justin Fields has been carrying this team. I thought that there was no way that the Colts would be able to pull off this win.
Especially they jumped to, they literally started with a 17-0 lead.
Yes. Well, and that's what it was. It was interceptions, not...
I was watching this in the corner, so I wasn't listening to it, but I looked down. I was like, oh, what's happening?
Yes. Okay.
Is my screen glitching?
You know how we were just talking about the interceptions? Someone got that many interceptions? I was thinking of interceptions thrown, and Anthony Richardson, the Colts quarterback, is the one that leads, and he has thrown 6 interceptions this season. And he is struggling. And their offense in general is struggling. And they also have one of the worst run defenses in the entire league. And so I was just like, there's no way. The Steelers team has been playing incredible. And it's not like they played awful. But the first quarter, they came out and the Colts were 1-2 punch, scored 2 touchdowns almost immediately. They scored within the first 3 minutes of the game. And I was like, I'm sorry, where's this Colts team been the last 3 weeks?
Where are you?
Yeah, who are you?
Well, they looked good the first week, and we were talking about how they were underrated, and then they were like, oh, and we were like, no, just kidding, we lied.
Yes, and now they're randomly good.
And now they look good again.
Yeah, they scored 14 points in the first quarter, and literally it was within the first 6 minutes of the first quarter. It was not, they went ham. And so Justin Fields, he still had a fantastic game. This was a close game. It was.
I thought this game was going to end up with the Steelers having 0 because they went up so fast, and it looked like the Steelers were not going to do anything.
Oh my gosh! Well, and that was the really frustrating part was worst run defense in the league in the Colts, and the Steelers could not run through them. But they eventually figured it out. And so I think that was the Steelers' problem in the first quarter.
How embarrassing is that?
That's what I'm saying.
Come on, guys, this is your week for the run game. Their run defense is
yes.
No one's stopping you, and then they can't run. No, I would reevaluate my life.
And so I think that's why
hello, China.
Straight up. Thankfully that the Steelers coach and everything that switched shit up from the second quarter on, and that's why it became a closer game.
Yeah.
Because after the first quarter, in that first quarter, they were doing a lot of run plays. Because again, you're trying to capitalize off the fact that they have a shitty run defense. And they could not get through them. And maybe that just means that the Colts were we're gonna practice really hard this week,
That's how I felt with the Cowboys.
Yes.
I'm are they no one's gonna say we're the worst run defense.
Exactly. Yes. And so that's
come again.
Exactly. And so after that, they started utilizing their receivers a lot more. They had George Pickens, who had 7 receptions for 113 yards, which was awesome for him. On the other end with, the Colts, Anthony Richardson actually ended up getting hurt, which, I think that's why the Colts won. Knock on...
Listen.
First of all, I love you, Anthony Richardson. I'm so sorry. He got effed up. I don't even remember. Was it his hip? Okay, I thought it was his head. I thought I got a concussion. But
suffered a hip injury by from Minka Fitzpatrick. Yeah.
Yes, that makes sense. Okay, but he got injured, got taken out, and then Joe Flacco came in, and in a partial game, he had a great game.
If it's one thing that Joe Flacco's gonna do, it's gonna come in and save a season randomly for some random team.
For the Indianapolis Colts.
It's he's literally puts on his mask and
literally. Well, no, he did so good.
I'll step up.
His completion percentage was not awesome. He was 16 for 26.
He's damn, I gotta play. Oh, let me
hold on. He's cracking all his bones.
You hear 30 things crack, and then he's 16 of 26.
He blows the dust off of his helmet. All right, let me put this thing on.
I love this for Joe Flacco.
Me too, but threw 2 touchdowns. He, 168 yards. He had such a great game, and they also have Jonathan Taylor on their end who has been, I would say, pretty consistent. He had 88 yards, which is, that's fine. He had one of the touchdowns. So I feel like overall, the way that the score was, it was 24-27. Watching the game after the first quarter, it was a very evenly matched game.
Yeah.
But like I said, like the Colts came out.
The ending score made me think how it was going to be. Although I thought the Steelers were going to be, and I thought it was going to be a little lower scoring.
Me too.
But the whole time that I was waiting for this game, I assumed it was not going to start 17-0 with the Colts up. But
yeah, that was, and you know what?
Good for you, Joe Flacco.
And like I said, good on the Steelers for being able to completely adjust, because again, you go into a game, like if you are any sports team and you know your next matchup, you're going to be watching film, you're going to be planning for the type of team that they are, defense, offense, etc. And so you go in and you're like, these guys are allowing 250 rush yards per game.
Not for you.
Not for you, baby. Moving on from the Steelers-Colts, because again, it was a good game. Everyone played fine. Colts just kind of surprised us after the way that they've played the last few weeks.
They were fine.
Who else surprised us? Would it be the Jaguars from Jacksonville, Florida?
They're not surprising me at all. They're repeating week after week.
What do you mean? They were so surprising.
Oh my God. They were surprising me because they had the best game they've had all season and still lost.
I love that.
So Jags for 2024. I was surprised because the Jags did go up early, and I had assumed because the Texans got embarrassed last week that they were going to come out.
Yeah.
It was a bad game, like from everyone-ish.
I would agree.
I
would agree.
Yeah. So Stroud threw for 345 yards and 2 touchdowns. So
Laugh.
to get the win, it was a 1-yard pass to third-string running back Dare Ogunbowale with 18 seconds left to give the Texans a 24-20 victory. This is his first time scoring a touchdown since 2022.
Hey, congratulations, bestie.
Yeah. So I want to talk about, the Jags suck. I literally don't know how to help you. I'm so sorry. But Nico Collins of the Houston Texans is insane.
He's been so incredible all season.
So good. Top career high 12 receptions for 151 yards and a touchdown for his third 100-yard game this season. So I had that because CD doesn't even have a 100-yard game this season.
So that's so true.
Yeah.
He's competing with the best of the best, essentially.
He has 489 yards receiving this season to become the first Texan to surpass 450 yards receiving in the first 4 games.
Wow.
And he is first in the league right now for receiving yards. So he is incredible. Oh my gosh, this was what was funny, and I had to talk about it.
He's great if you have him on fantasy, by the way, for Nico Collins. He's one of the best.
Speaking about the Jaguars, they asked the coach in the conference if he was worried about his job.
Guys,
and
this is not the first coach they've asked either.
Odd question. No, I felt really bad. They played their best game of the season,
and then you're gonna ask him if he's scared for his job.
They blew a third quarter lead. They couldn't finish on either side of the ball.
And I just want to say too, because you and I were talking about this when they asked him, are you worried about your job? Listen, there are things that a coach can work with, and there are things that a coach cannot.
There's only so much they can do.
Listen, Trevor Lawrence having a 55% pass completion.
Yeah.
That's not the coach's fault. That's not the coach's fault. Them having no offensive threat and really just no defense to work with.
They're screwed.
That's not the coach's fault. A coach is not a magician. A coach is the one that, makes the plays and does what he can for the team. But if your team doesn't execute, then there's really not much that they can do.
Yeah, and I mean, CJ Stroud and Nico Collins look amazing together, and they were missing.
They have that really good connection.
They have an amazing connection. It's one of the better ones that I've seen.
Same.
In the past couple of years. Yep. And then Tank Dell was out, so they don't even have their second top guy yet. So
which is probably why he's getting utilized so much.
I didn't have a lot to say other than Nico Collins, you're amazing, and Jaguars, you still suck. 4 weeks in.
I love this game.
I love this game.
I know. I'm really surprised by them. I I think I picked them to go 0-5. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, did you? I mean, I don't even think I had a prediction on what they would go.
Yeah,
but I thought they would be better. I don't know. I thought Trevor Lawrence was good. He used to be.
Yeah, I no. Just when I was making my week 5 picks, I looked at their matchup and I was like,
"Oh, you're saying now?" I thought you meant before.
No, not in the beginning.
I don't think I had any idea of what they were going to look like.
No, me neither. And now seeing them, I was like, "Oh, they're screwed."
The Bengals did get their first win.
Go Joe! Go Joey B! I was texting her.
Go
I was
Joey
like,
B.
"Not Joe Burrow winning a football game."
Yeah, after losing each of their first 3 games by 6 points or less, they won by double digits. Thank God.
Thank God.
Maybe you take that with a grain of salt because it was the Panthers.
I was gonna say it was the Panthers. Andy Dalton.
But the Cincinnati's offense is starting to look better. Joe Burrow doesn't look like he doesn't look like Joe Burrow with a wrist injury.
Oh my gosh, it's almost like Jamar Chase when he shows up to practice in games and practices with a team and learns their offense. It's almost like you can play a little bit better.
That's so amazing. It's almost like when you have, 3 amazing offensive pieces that want to, play correctly.
Crazy.
So wild.
That is literally insane. I just would have never guessed.
But with the Panthers, I will say they're not as bad as everyone thought. Thanks to Andy Dalton.
I was
so sorry, Bryce Young. We talked about this last week. Like they're not as bad as we thought, but they proved it again. They
are still bad.
You can't just say that last week was like a fluke and Andy Dalton just had an insane game. Like no, like he's made them better.
No, like as a team, they're playing better and stuff like that. They're getting down the field a little bit more as a team. And like I feel like they're at least offensively, they're looking a little bit better. They're competing a little bit more. But they're still a bad team.
Poor Bryce.
They're still a bad team.
And I am supposed to hate them
so
much. But I'm supposed to hate the Commanders so much.
Oh,
so much because
I love them though. Jayden Daniels, man.
I just like Jayden Daniels, man. I'm sorry.
He's been so
42-14.
good.
It's like something clicked last week.
Yeah.
And he looks like, of course, the best rookie QB. I was trying to combine 2 words. He looks like, of course, the best, rookie QB this year so far.
Does.
He
I
looks
actually
insane.
have on my thing that I could see him just with how he's been playing, being the offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
He's just been absolutely incredible. He was 26 for 30, which is an 86.6 completion percentage,
So
which
good.
is incredible for 233 yards.
82.1.
What? Oh, 82.1.
Of his passes this season. That's his percentage.
Yes.
Sorry.
I was talking about this game. 82.1 this season.
I thought that's what my thing was. And then I was like, ooh, but that's impressive for the whole season.
No, he's just incredible. He really is. And he had 1 rushing touchdown himself. He had a passing touchdown. The thing that I love about him is that,
was his first passing touchdown.
Was it?
Was it last week or this week? I can't remember.
Oh.
Because he passed to that lineman.
Oh, yes.
And I think it was last week.
Yes, that was
Yes, because okay, sorry.
Yes.
The weeks are blending together.
They really are. But no, he's just like, to me, when I watch him, he does not look like a rookie. He's such a good decision maker. He's comfortable in the pocket. He's very comfortable running the ball.
He's an amazing decision maker.
Yes, and he's just he's such an accurate quarterback. Like he is throwing darts to these guys. Like he is throwing ahead of his receivers so that his receivers can get there and catch it. Like just the way that it works out and the way that he makes these passes, it's so impressive to watch. So I have him on offensive rookie of the year watch. He's
Speaking of
amazing.
The offense, which is making him look good. So the early favorite for the NFL and assistant coach of the year is going to their offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury, who was fired as head coach from the Cardinals. Little revenge game here. He put on an offensive clinic. And yes, of course, he has a great rookie, but I think it has a lot to do, he is calling for his rookie, and that was some of our issues with Sean Payton. Yeah. He's calling for the short passes, and so he can throw those quick darts. I think he's doing a lot of the run pass options to keep the defense confused. He's doing a lot of things to help build him up and get him comfortable. I think,
it's
in his rookie season.
Behavioral analysis.
Of course.
Give him things that he can do, and when he does do it, he gets more comfortable. comfortable and gets more confident.
Short passes, screens, high percentage throws, run pass options. Like they're doing all the things to keep a defense like from figuring him out and also while letting him get comfortable, I think, before he's going to start throwing those, 80-yard downfield passes.
Course. And can I say something else about their offense too? Is that in the past 3 games, they've punted the ball 1 time. In 3 games, they have punted the ball a singular time, and they have scored 101 points in the last 3 games.
They're 3-1, and they're first place in the NFC East.
Yeah. And I think just by the way that they look, I feel like they're going to stay that way because they've been amazing. They scored on 3 of their 4 red zone possessions. They're finding a way to get down the field. They're finding a way to score, and they're showing that they are underdogs, and I sincerely apologize for ever doubting them. My bad. Besties, I did pick them this week. I did pick them to win
I don't love you because of what you do to the Cowboys, but I do like your quarterback. So if you want to go somewhere else, not to my team, but just to a team that I'm not supposed to hate. Yeah. Okay. But Kyler Murray, speaking of quarterbacks, does not look good.
And it's not, you know what, like... not even so much just him. Like, he was looking good in the first couple games. Yeah. And then the last 2 games, he's been looking really rough. The team as a whole.
Yeah. He threw for only 142 yards against, like, statistically, the second worst passing defense in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And let's also talk about the Cardinals defense because the Cardinals do not have a defense. The Cardinals defense has been abysmal. It has been disgusting to watch. They are allowing passes, runs, whatever you want. Like, if you want it, Cardinals defense will give it to you, okay? Like, if you're wanting to do super fun trick plays, if you're wanting to literally, oh my God, you want the quarterback to do a cartwheel and literally go through your defense, he's going to do it. Go ahead. Cardinals defense will let you do it.
I feel like part of it is like the play calling. I feel like they're using him like he's still injured.
Kyler, yes.
Yeah, it looks like they're
playing
baiting.
so safe.
Yeah.
Yes. Very timid football.
Very timid football. Not. And so it's like, should he not be playing? Or just get on with it? Injuries happen. Let him move on.
Yeah, all they had. And like, okay, so this is what I put. And this is crazy to me. So we were just talking about the Cardinals defense and everything. They had 1 QB hit the entire game. Not a sack.
Not a sack. I was about to say.
1 singular QB hit. And then 1 interception, which was great and everything. But the only thing that they had on offense the whole game was James Conner. He had 100 yards between rushing and 1 reception. So James Conner really was like the only guy that like showed up to play the entire game. And that just kind of sucks for him because you're surrounded by literal dingleberries.
Yeah, there's 11 people on the field, not just 1.
Yeah, so that whole game was rough. But like shout out to the Commanders because they're inside.
If you wanna.
Ew.
Fine.
I didn't realize that I didn't realize that Cowboys fans didn't like Commanders.
They're division rivals.
I knew that.
With that's Ravens. Commanders, Cowboys, Eagles, and Giants.
Thanks, Mom.
Which is why I'm supposed to hate all of them.
Well, at least the Giants are bad. Mm-hmm. And the Eagles are pretty bad too.
Yeah, I have that's what sucks. I'm like, why do you take Jalen Hurts from Alabama? And I like him, and I like Saquon Barkley, and I like this new rookie quarterback. So stop getting likable people. It's like the freaking Knicks getting Karl Anthony Towns. I was so excited to watch the stinking Knicks this year. So excited. They were going to be my East team. Them and the Magic. Now I don't want to watch them because now I have to watch Cat.
I actually used to really like Cat before like they started becoming such a big threat. Like before
I just think he's annoying.
Yeah, you were saying that. I really liked him because of like he was like super I hate saying this. He was like super adorable about I know. When he did the 3-point contest and stuff like that, like he apparently like reached out to Steph a lot and like tried to get pointers and was taking it all seriously. And I love Steph and it's just so cute to me.
I just think he's a whiner. I think he's a little bitch. And I know that's kind of mean, but I think he's a little bitch.
Wow.
I don't like
Spencer's obsessed.
Spencer's notorious for hating any Kentucky player in the league, even though I went to Kentucky. Not so all, but most.
That's because you know him, though. So
you
know the beef.
Yeah, and then also it just so happens that they're annoying.
I don't know why. I just bit my.
Ew.
Literally don't know why I did that. If we want to talk about other teams that are underwhelming, like the Arizona Cardinals, let's talk about the Patriots, because the Patriots also had me fooled, just like the Arizona Cardinals did in the first part of the season. I thought that they were the Patriots
Better than we thought they were going to be.
Yes. And so, I was all surprised. And then last week they played the Jets and got just absolutely annihilated. And then this most recent week, they played the 49ers and got absolutely annihilated. And again,
I love the
showed
49ers.
Me too. And they showed exactly
who they are.
Yeah, they showed that they're the team that we all thought that they were.
Fred Warner got a pick 6. I was so excited.
It was so beautiful.
He's so cute. Him and his wife are so cute. I love them. They just had a baby.
Oh, I love
I also think he's so handsome, but he's married, so I just think they're cute.
I love that. But on the what's it called? On the topic, the word I was thinking of was topic. On the topic of 49ers, really good players. George Kittle came back, and he had a fantastic game himself.
He had an insane catch with like three defenders on him in the end zone. It was a really.
I said
I'm gonna post a picture.
Zero problem.
It was the coolest picture I've seen this year. Or one of them. It was so cool.
He did so good, and I love to see that. I was a little bit worried because he did get hurt mid-game.
Yeah.
And so I was a little bit scared that he was going to be out again, but he did end up coming back, and again, he had such a fantastic game after that. Fred Warner also got injured after his pick 6, and with an ankle injury, he didn't come back in the game. So
I love him though.
I just feel like the 49ers have just been plagued with injuries. That's been the name of the game for them this season.
Yeah.
Literally 1 to 2 players per game are getting hurt. And if you're the 49ers trainer listening, you got to figure that out, bro. You got to get them game ready because your guys are getting hurt every 10 seconds.
I think, and their defense looked so good this game. And I think,
I agree.
because I've thought that their defense has been really good, that I was kind of shocked with the Vikings game. And of course, they had a ton of injuries. I think that was the game that Kittle, Debo,
they were all out that game.
Yeah, McCaffrey were out.
Yep.
But the defense delivered 6 sacks and a touchdown because of Fred Warner in the first game since losing Javon Hargrave to, they think, a season-ending injury.
Sad.
Purdy hit 3 deep passes and Jordan Mason rushed for 123 for his third 100-yard rushing game in 4 weeks.
Wow.
I've said this in the past couple weeks. I love him. He's been an amazing backup. He shouldn't be a backup. And then Fred Warner, got his second career touchdown as a linebacker, which is so cool. He has 3 forced fumbles and 2 interceptions through 4 games this season.
He's a monster, dude. And he's and I just love that this season, he just has consistently been so good. And on the other side of the game, I just wanted to say this too. The Patriots, Ramondre Stevenson, he's one of their only good players. No offense. And he has fumbled at least once in every single game this year. That's a problem. You need to hold on to the ball.
You want to hear another problem
that
the Patriots have? They've been held under 150 passing yards in each of the first 4 games for the first time since 1971. Awkward.
That's 53 years. Thank you, math majors. Awkward. I am a genius.
The Patriots are exactly who we thought they were, part 2.
Yeah, no, I'm not even surprised about that because bless you.
Sorry.
Careful with that.
Don't text me.
Ugh.
Leave me alone.
I just think with the Patriots that when I saw them play the first 2 games, I was so surprised because again, they're a young team with a quote unquote rookie coach. I don't expect
anything from you, actually.
Yes, I really don't, and that's okay.
Zilch.
Yes, that's okay. You're
learning. It's not because I hate you.
Oh yeah, that too. But if it was any other team, you're learning. You know, you're all young guys, and if you can accept that you're not going to win every single game when you're a really young team with a rookie coach, you can actually take the time to build something that's really good. Yeah. And so I wish teams would just kind of accept that. But I did pick them to win this week as well. So this coming week.
Well.
Not against the 49ers. I picked the 49ers to win that game. I went 12-4 with my picks this past week, by the way. That's incredible.
I didn't look it up because I posted mine, but I don't know.
I looked finally late last night. But
I didn't look at mine, so no clue.
No clue. Love that for you.
Probably 12 for 12.
I would say so.
Definitely not.
Did you have anything else to say on that game besides?
Sure didn't.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say like it was a good game. It was exactly how I expected it. 49ers absolutely dominated the Patriots.
And they still have a ton of injuries, so go you.
They held them to 73 rushing yards. The Patriots had 73 rushing yards. So I think they only had like 200 total yards on the game, which is really bad. Ow.
Ouch.
That's a little painful. But you know what? Speaking of injuries and speaking of other really good teams. Sorry. The Chiefs. I gave myself the ick there. The Chiefs and Chargers.
Are the Chiefs really that good?
Okay. Thank you. So can we talk about this? Because they're obviously 4-0. They beat the Chargers 17-10. I put here the same way that the Cowboys won is how I think the Chiefs won this game. Did they win the game? Yes, they did. Did they look good? Not really. They didn't. And again, a lot of that is injuries.
Rashi Rice.
Yes, as he should. Sorry, you should have been suspended anyway, bestie.
And your mom stole
Chappelle. Chappell-Roan.
They literally got, if you haven't seen it yet, please go Google it. They literally caught on camera
his mom,
because she literally had her Mama Rice jersey on.
Stealing someone's package.
Stealing like a package off of an apartment doorstep.
Yeah.
And it was like CDs.
Yeah.
It was a record.
Yeah, it's literally
okay. That's why. Like, what you literally you watch her walk past, and then she goes back to grab it,
and like she looks at the camera. Oh, I just.
Anyway, Chiefs have a problem.
Rice and Mama Rice can sit in jail together, but
they've got a problem on their hands.
Yeah, apparently. But so the Chiefs are obviously super injured. Isaiah Pacheco and Rashi Rice, and who else just got injured too? I literally just had this. Oh my God. Oh, Hollywood Brown is obviously still out.
Yeah.
And they just don't have like a lot of like.
And Mahomes doesn't look good.
He doesn't. I was going to say he's thrown an interception, I think, in most of his
5 interceptions in 4 games.
Thank you. I was going to say, I think.
You're welcome.
Has it been in each game? Because I feel like it's been.
I think so. And then 2 in 1 game.
Yeah. So he just like has not been looking like the Patrick Mahomes. And again, that's why that's why them ranking him number 1 on those QB rankings made me really mad, because I was like, of course, like he's the quarterback on the number 1 team and blah blah blah, and they're 2-time champs.
But the Vikings are also 4-0.
Well, correct. But and I was gonna say, but they're 2-time champs and blah blah blah, and they were supposed to be good coming into the season, but they looked really bad. I just don't think that they looked great, and they only scored 17 points on a very injured Chargers team as well.
And they're going to have to. I'm thinking, I mean, your best 2 options are Amari Cooper or DeAndre Hopkins. I think DeAndre Hopkins is the better choice. If you can get both, get both.
Oh,
if you're that team,
to get a new offensive piece.
They're screwed. They need a receiver.
They used Travis Kelce more than they have all season.
Exactly, because he's Mahomes' security blanket.
Yes.
Yeah.
He had 9 receptions, 87 yards, and I think that's more than his total on the first 3 games.
But he's getting older, and then you have like rookie Xavier Worthy, but he can't be the only person. So
he can't be like trusted to take every single pass.
No, you literally need to sign or trade for a receiver this week.
Yeah.
Or you have 5 weeks until the trade deadline, but I mean, I would hop on it, besties. Otherwise, don't, because I'd love to see you lose this week. That'd be so good.
I actually have them losing their first game this week. I have the Saints going into Kansas City and hopefully beating them. I just think that
please, Clint Kubiak.
Look, Kansas City is a fantastic team. We all know this. Like I've said before, I think that they're going to be the first team to make it to the Super Bowl the 3rd year in a row. Okay. I think that they're going to be that first team. I can recognize that they're good, but I would love to see them lose every single game for the rest of their lives as a Broncos fan. Literally, the next 20 years, you may lose every single game. I don't care. Love you so much. Okay. But like, listen, you look really rough. And I just think that they're looking tired. I think that their injuries are wearing on them.
Well, you've had a shorter off season.
Yes.
For the past 2 years.
Yes.
You have gone into the postseason and played in a Super Bowl. You have had the longest season out of, besides the people that have been against you, but you've done it 2 years in a row.
Yep.
So you don't have as much time to recover.
Nope. And like I said,
it's obvious.
Yeah, and like I said, like with all the injuries that they have, like you can just tell that they look fatigued. They look tired. It was a really slow game, which is
for sure ski.
Which is so unlike Kansas City to like look slow and to like look like shit. And they just did. So I think that the Saints go in and crush them, but we'll talk about that tomorrow when we do our preview. But on the other end with the Chargers and everything, the Chargers are incredibly injured. They are missing a lot of players. Justin Herbert, their quarterback, was also injured. And they played him, and I wish that they didn't. He had like an ankle injury, and I'm like,
he should not have played.
I'm like, you're going in with like a super injured team, and you're playing the Chiefs. Sit him. And then they have a bye week this week. They're not even playing this week. So I'm like, why would you not utilize 3 weeks off to rest him? Why would you not do that? So I thought that was a really silly decision because if you're anyone in the league, you probably knew that the Chiefs were going to beat the Chargers anyway.
Yeah.
So that was just, I don't know. I think that was really dumb. But the Chargers defense did show up. They played really well against a obviously injured Chiefs offense. And again, held them to 17 points, which was great. Patrick Mahomes did not have a fantastic game. Everyone else, I just feel like it was a slow game. That's all I got to say. It was a really, really slow game. They had 2 injured tackles, Joey Bosa, and this is the Chargers, and safety Derwin James were also injured. So just 2 super injured teams in the AFC West. That was disgusting.
Darn.
Yes, and of course, the Broncos are playing the Raiders this week too. So AFC West, man, is open to the Broncos. Us big Bronky Bears coming in to steal
Bronky
the
boys
title.
and our throwback jerseys.
They're gonna look so good.
They're gonna look so good.
Okay, that's all I had about that game. They're 2 injured teams. It was really slow, and the Chiefs are looking bad. So
yeah, I hate the Chiefs, and I hate the Chiefs almost as much as I hate Deshaun Watson.
I was just about to say Deshaun Watson. Listen, Raiders. You only sacked this man 3 times.
Not enough. Not enough.
He was averaging getting sacked 7 times a game before you. 3.
Do better or worse. Do your worst.
Think about your wives.
Come
your
on.
daughters, your sisters, your moms.
Your mothers, your sisters.
Think about like just
your aunts.
Yes, just put their faces on Deshaun Watson's face and just like.
I do love how Kevin Stefanski was NFL Coach of the Year last year. Yeah. And he's 1-3, and their only win is against the 0-4 Jaguars.
Ouch.
Ooh, Kev, rough.
And also,
sorry, Kev.
We didn't really have too much to say about this game.
No, I just wanted to say he wasn't sacked enough.
Yes, exactly. But I do want to also put that Davonte Adams did tell his team and his front office that he would like to be traded. He was like, listen, I'm way too good for this team. You need to put me on a better team.
Well, they literally showed him, I think, mic'd up saying something because he was hit so hard or something. And he was like, I have to get off this team. He's like, before, like, my life's in danger. He's like, I'm getting hit.
They're not protecting him.
No.
Yeah.
So he's had that ankle thing. You know, he is out right now. And then he only has a year left on his contract. So wherever he goes, they either have to decide, like, are we just hanging out with you for a year, buddy? Or, like, are we going to, like, rework your contract next year?
Yeah.
I don't know why anyone thinks that he would be going to the Chiefs. They're obviously not sending him to a division rival.
I know people were even saying,
love you so much, but let's use our brains here.
People were literally even saying, get him on the Broncos. I was like, why would the Raiders ever put him on a rival?
They're literally not.
Yeah. No, that's literally like Steph Curry going to the Nuggets.
His top 2, it's like Jamal going to the Timberwolves, something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So his top 2 choices are, because he's getting older, like not that he's bad, like he's amazing. He's still one of the best receivers.
He's a tank.
He's a tank. But again, he is getting older. So, it seems to be like his top 2 choices are probably going to be with people he's played before, which are Derek Carr and then obviously Aaron Rodgers on the Jets. And I think Aaron Rodgers has like expressed interest.
That would be an interesting matchup.
They like each other.
Like
and they know each other. I think he wants to play with people he's played before. So I think that's like the rumor mill. I'm trying to become an NFL and NBA insider. I don't know how you get that title. I was listening to this today.
Spency Wadge.
Where they were like, this is, news from an NBA insider, NFL insider. I was like, I want to be an insider. Do I just have to like become friends with everyone on each team and gossip?
I think
I can do that.
I'm really good at that.
from the other insiders, I'm working on getting there. So I have to learn from the best. They're saying because I want Spence bombs.
To insider.
Spence bombs. S bombs. SP bombs.
I feel like cat bombs sound bad.
Cat bombs?
Kate bombs.
Yeah, Kate bombs. That's cute.
I feel like that's like a
C-bomb.
That's like a bath bomb.
Ooh.
You know, like sparkles and stuff.
Yeah.
And bubbles.
You sports bombs?
That's cute.
It doesn't really
Yeah, right. We hate it.
fly off the tongue. Well, whatever. Anyway, so I think they have 5 weeks till the trade deadline, and of course, at first they were like, "We're not fielding any call." So I think that's where the Spence bomb comes that
Dun, 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 dun.
everyone is posting
That
about.
was my Spence bomb sound.
Dun, 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 dun. It sounded like the. Is it like the ESPN thing? Yeah. Wait, did you ever respond to my text that what's her face gets $1 million each time her? Fun fact of the day: Carrie Underwood gets every Sunday. It's Sunday night, right? Not Monday night. Okay.
Been waiting all day for a Sunday night.
Anyway, she gets $1 million every time that song is played. And it's been playing for what, like 12 years, I think, or something insane.
Yep.
And it's like 18 times, I think. So she gets $18 million in an NFL season just from that. Just from that.
Honestly, it's the legs.
Must be nice.
The Carrie Underwood legs.
I was just going to say I would love her legs.
Me too.
Man.
I want her just like her whole body. Maybe her face. Maybe her hair.
We got 2 games left. And then we got to get up out of here because we have a game to watch.
Thursday night football, baby.
The Bucs and the Falcons. AKA I have to I'm going to have one eye looking this way and one eye looking down here so I can edit.
I thought you meant like right now. I was like, are you going to do that?
No,
Do we want to talk Ravens Bills?
I do.
Because like Derrick Henry?
You're
The tank?
insane.
I know that they call him King Henry, but I call him the tank.
Listen.
That man.
If I had a 6'2", 200-pound guy
I think he's like
running,
230 pounds.
He's a running back.
I just feel like
I'd just move out the way. I think they do. I secretly, so they don't get film on it later. Like, what were you doing here, buddy? I'm moving out the way.
Yep.
I don't want to die today.
I'm actually not getting trampled. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Not getting run over by a train.
Literally, like the only time I think I would ever dare do anything is if he was running sideways, and I'd be like, oh, "Let's try and get you, Bessie." No, if he's running towards me, I'm screaming and running away. Okay.
No, he had an 87-yard touchdown.
Immediately, the first
Yes.
drive of the game.
It was absolutely insane. And like, mind you, he was not touched for like the last 70 yards of it. The first few yards.
He went untouched for 87 yards.
Okay, it was untouched for 87 yards. Yeah, because before that, once he got the ball, there were a couple of dudes that were kind of in his way that he just trampled over, and then everyone else was like,
"Move, bitch!" That's what I hear when I watch him.
Move,
bitch! Get out the way! Get out the way, bitch! Get out the way!
No, that's literally they should.
That should be his theme song. No, literally, his stiff arm scares me. He scares me.
No, he's like a monster.
He's a bad man.
Oh my God.
In the best way. I don't know.
You keep talking. I'm listening. Tell me what you like about this.
Anyway.
Anyway, I'm going to find this picture for
I don't
you.
have anything that I like. I have a lot of things that I hate about this game.
Because it's the Ravens?
No, because
it's the Bills.
The Bills.
They were so stupid.
I will say, oh my gosh, Derrick Henry did say, because he fumbled a yard short of 200.
Nuh-uh.
He was a yard short of 200 rushing yards, which is insane.
That
200
is
rushing yards in a game. And so he fumbled and fell a yard short of 200, and he said that's going to haunt me. So
it would haunt me too.
So he fumbled at the goal line early in the 4th, and then Patrick Ricard fell on the ball for their 5th touchdown. I was like, what's gonna happen? I wanted this to be a close game.
About that.
I wanted this to be a close game so bad.
I feel like the Bills just gave up at halftime, and we were talking about that.
We were so pissed.
I don't understand.
It disgusted me because you're here to play football.
Yes.
You literally, Kayla and I were talking about. They get their first touchdown. I'm like, they got to go for 2 because they're already down 3 touchdowns or something. My friend was over. I'm like, they have to go for 2 here. I mean, it's a no-brainer in my... Yes. Anyway. So I'm like, they have to go for a 2-point conversion. You're down to... I mean, come on. I know I'm not a head coach, but it seems pretty simple.
Yes, go
you
for
have nothing
2.
else to lose. Didn't go for 2. There were so many times that there were 4th and 1, 4th and 2. I'm like,
2.
oh, like they've got to go for it. You're
4th and
down.
inches.
You're so far down. And they like played so timid.
Yes,
Like
they were playing.
They played like a
yes.
team that's already 0-7 and doesn't care.
Yes, Josh Allen was literally being talked about in MVP talks.
He just had one of the best games last year.
Yes. Last week, yeah.
Wow, he just had one of his best games last week, and I expected him to come out and I don't know, he looked like he was getting an attitude, I guess, because no one's doing anything. But then you go out at halftime. I'm thinking, okay, let's regroup. You still have time. They come out, still don't do anything.
Yes, people have come back from these deficits several
all
times.
the time.
Yes, they do. Like you have obviously the Ravens scored that many points. You can score that many points too and punch it right back. But and they just stop trying.
And then you take him out like 5 minutes into the 4th.
Yeah. It was dumb.
Just no effort. I don't know. I was disgusted by it, to be honest. And I picked them to win. Like I
did too.
I really love Derrick Henry, and I know he's amazing. You know, he literally looks like he's 23 and like at his prime.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, come on.
Yeah.
Put some effort in. You're here to play a freaking football game. Play football.
Truly.
I don't want to see it literally just looked pathetic. I was like,
did.
4th and 2, not going for it again. Oh, okay.
And like I said, it just looks like you're giving up. Like I feel like no real competitor wants that. Like if I were playing on the team, I'd be like, Coach, 4 and 2, I'm going for it.
Yeah,
Coach, we're going for it. Coach, it's 4 and 1, 4 in inches, or like
called
4th in
the
inches.
2-point conversion.
Yes, and I think they tried a 2-point conversion at one point and they missed it. Right?
I don't even think they did, but I could be wrong. But I just remember
another game.
I could be wrong, but I remember getting upset that it happened multiple times, that there were 4th and 1, and I'm like,
so bad.
You are so far down. Just what else do you have to lose? Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a completion rate, Josh Allen, of 55%. His season average is 75%. Oh, this is what it was. They lost by the most that the Bills have lost by. In 43 games.
I forgot I had that written down somewhere.
Yes, and they scored less than the Bills have in 41 games.
Yeah.
10 points and losing by 25. So truly, I mean, this game was the worst that this team has played in years, and I find that really embarrassing. And obviously the Ravens had a fantastic game. It wasn't just the Bills. It was the Ravens playing amazing and the Bills playing like shit. But on the Ravens side, Van Noy, which is a guy on their defense, he recorded 2 sacks for the 3rd straight game, which that's pretty monstrous these days. And I feel like that's awesome.
Yeah.
So he did really good. The Ravens defense went from having the worst pass defense through 3 games to limiting Josh Allen to 180 pass yards and hitting him 8 times. So obviously the Ravens really upped their defensive game on him.
Yeah,
and
they looked great.
I think maybe that was what was part of what was pissing off Josh Allen was that he wasn't being protected the way that he should have been. Yeah, exactly. I think maybe he was on his man period.
That's a real thing for sure.
It is. It really is a real
once
thing.
a month. Mm-hmm.
No, I think it's once a day.
Fair.
Honestly, I'll have to Google it.
I've been single, so I couldn't tell you. Don't know what to tell you.
Sorry, princess.
Sure. I forgot what being in a relationship is.
General biology, maybe. But I also failed biology, so I wouldn't know. I could be making this up right now. It could have been a TikTok I saw 2 years ago.
That's my favorite thing to do to people. Or my mom.
Read an article.
I read something the other day. It was a TikTok. Yeah,
I'm sure. What?
I will say now I do read a lot more articles sports-wise, but on anything news related, I didn't read the article. I promise you, unless it's sports, I did not read anything about it. It was a TikTok. Should we wrap it up?
With Monday?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to do Tennessee, Miami first, just because it was the worst of the games?
Oh, I have nothing on them other than Will Levis. You are an embarrassment of football.
Yes. Here's my few notes.
But you can talk about it because you watched it. I was still working, so I didn't really get to watch it.
Yeah, I got to watch both games a little bit. Obviously, I focused mostly on the Lions Seahawks because it was the much better of the few games. But I did watch the first good chunk of the Tennessee Miami game. It was awful. It was just such a bad, boring game, and at
the
first,
Dolphins literally.
The Dolphins have completely shit themselves.
The NFL preview, I literally said they have one of the best rosters, I think, in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, I think a big part of it, okay, so I just want to say this too, because obviously Huntley, their quarterback, has been assicle, okay? Just complete ass on a stick. Assicle, right? Mm-hmm. Awful. And so you have guys like Tyreek Hill, who quite literally, He has combined for 87 receiving yards in the past 3 games. Tyreek Hill, your best receiver. Why does he have 29 yards a game? Why?
Yikes.
That is to me.
Boo, tomato.
Yes, to me that is like completely. That should not be a thing.
Unacceptable.
Yes. And obviously, it was just a bad loss for them to a really below average team. The Titans are not awesome either. Will Levis is awful. He leads the league in turnovers with 9, and he's tied for interceptions with 6 with Anthony Richardson.
Like the dumbest turnovers I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yes. Was it him or was it Trevor Lawrence that rolled out with no defender coming at him?
Probably Will Levis.
Both.
He did that like stupid pass that turned out to be a fumble. He's so dumb. I'm so sorry.
One of them was like in the pocket and rolled out of the pocket, and there was not even a defender coming at him. It was so funny. Oh my God, I loved it. Either way, it was just really bad. But on the Tennessee side, Tyjae Spears and Tony Pollard were featured in their rough game, and that's what you have to do when your quarterback sucks. That's literally what I put. They rushed for 142 yards, which was double their previous game. So obviously they do not trust Will Levis. So it's...
You're making the University of Kentucky look bad.
It was really bad. Huntley led the entire Miami team in rush yards with 40. So
that's so much.
The whole game was just awful, and Tennessee trampled Miami.
That's so much.
That's that. It was a really bad game.
Yikes.
But on the other end, the Lions versus Seahawks, me and Spencer were so excited for this game. And the funny part was that, like, we were talking about it, and these are some of the best defenses in the league, okay? Obviously, they have fantastic offenses, too, but these are some of the best defenses in the league. And we were like, this is going to be a defensive battle. I'm betting under.
I thought this was going to be a defensive showdown. What's happening? We're on our 3rd touchdown. Ouch.
Yes, and it was 42-29, and the Lions won.
Jared Goff threw a perfect game, which he did not know because one of his, he had an incompletion, pass, but it got negated by a penalty, so he wasn't sure if it counted or not. So he was 18 of 18, and it was hilarious because the coach didn't know, and so he gave the game ball. They had like 3 game balls. He gave it to like other people, and he found out after. He was like, oh, but I think they got it to him eventually. My favorite parts of the game were when they did that lateral pass where Jared Goff passed. I forgot who he passed it to. Maybe Amon-Ra, and then Amon-Ra passed to someone else, but it could have been two totally different players. Anyway, I love like fun. I don't know why they're not utilized more. Yeah. Love a good trick play.
Travis, I hate when
Travis did it. Yeah,
I hate the Chiefs, but like when Travis Kelce,
that was so cool.
But when Travis Kelce like throws a pass and stuff like that, it's always so fun to me. Like when you utilize other players, or like when Jayden Daniels threw the linebacker or the lineman and stuff like that, like
stuff that's not typical in the game. So that was the lateral pass was so good because it's like, you know, because basketball, my favorite thing is when it's like goes him, and then a shot. So when you watch like the quarterback throw to a guy and then he throws to someone else. It was so fun. And then Amon-Ra did throw to Jared Goff
for a touchdown.
It was
and let me just say, it was so perfectly executed too, because so they snap the ball and Jared Goff gets the ball and it's perfect. Amon-Ra is to the right of him and everything like that. He just kind of does like this little shovel pass and everything like that. And then Jared Goff just goes straight to the corner, like goes left, goes straight to the corner, and Amon-Ra throws him this.
Like the slowest.
Yes. Throws him this perfectly beautiful little pass, and he runs the ball in for a touchdown.
It looked like so 2 kids playing. Like Amon-Ra was so hype. Loved it so much. I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. I say this all the time. I think he's so awesome.
He's such a good player.
Yes, it was so fun. And this was Goff's first touchdown reception for the first time in his career.
I love that for him.
And then Goff and St. Brown are the 8th duo in league history to throw and catch a touchdown from each other.
They're so cute.
Besties.
I love that.
And then I have a third favorite part was Amon-Ra's body control on his receiving touchdown. I love Amon-Ra so much. And one of my favorite receivers of all time and people of all time is Ocho Cinco. He is my celebrity crush. I love Chad Johnson. And one of my favorite things, if you ever watch his highlights, you always see that literally the exact pass that Amon-Ra caught. That's how like all of his best passes were Ocho's. So it was so cool to see that. He had the perfect little ballet toes to keep it in the line.
Yeah.
Such great body awareness.
Yes, just like the perfect like field awareness. Like I love watching receivers when they know that they're like about to be out of bounds and their first thought is catch the ball. And then like immediately like the way that their body can go from catch the ball to get both feet on the ground and inbounds, like it's amazing to watch. Like it really is so incredible. And that was such a good pass and such a good catch. But I literally thought that his pass to Jared Goff counted as an anytime touchdown. I was like, what if he throws the touchdown?
Jared got mine.
Yeah, I love that for you.
I did feel, so the Seahawks like did have a really injury-ridden defense. So I think that, played to a lot of it. But again, if you would have told me the score was 42-29 because I bet the under, I would have said, huh?
No,
thank you.
And here's the thing. So like I was talking to Spencer about this too, because again, they're two fantastic defensive teams and two fantastic offensive teams, probably two of the better teams in the league. I would say maybe two top 10 teams in the league right now. And like when you watch the game or you look at the score and you see 42-29, you're like, where's the defense? But like if you watched the game, the eye test would probably say that there was some pretty good defense. Like there were several broken up passes. There were tons of cornerbacks, tons of safeties getting their hands in passes.
They were on DK Metcalf.
Yes, and I was going to say DK Metcalf could not score, which was really frustrating for someone who bet for him to have an anytime touchdown. I'm not one of those people that's like, my parlay though. Okay, I don't care. But like,
he doesn't care either.
He doesn't care either. None of them do. But so, I mean, it was so frustrating because they tried to throw him, I think, 4 separate touchdown passes.
I had him
and
too.
All 4 were broken up or a penalty was called on them. And so they were all over him. Like I said, there were passes broken up on both sides. Like everyone was getting their hands in everything. It was, I would say, overall a really good defensive game, but it was a really fast game, and so they were able to score.
Yeah,
more.
I think the Lions like got up really quickly.
They did,
and then I thought the Seahawks started to like get some motion. But yeah, it was a fun game to watch.
Yep,
there were a lot
I
of fun
agree.
plays. Yeah.
Yes, my heart is happy. It was a good football week. We're about to go watch some Thursday night football. So
I just checked the score a second ago when you were talking.
Yes.
So sorry.
And
it was 7-7.
Love. Okay, cool. Well, we love you guys.
Sorry, it's 10-7. Bucs are up by 3.
Okay, thank you. We love
They
this
just got a
game.
53-yard field goal.
Wow, that's impressive. Good for them. Love that game.
Love that. I think we should go watch it.
Yes, but thank you for being here. If you're still here, we love you.
If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new here, welcome back.
Yes, we're so happy you're here.
Yeah.
And follow us on all of our socials.
We
like,
have
subscribe,
merch.
comment. Yes, we have merch.
Yes, please comment. We love when you comment. We love talking to you in the comments.
We do.
We have all of the things below, of course.
Yes.
And
so check us out.
And we'll see you soon because we're going to do a little preview for you tomorrow.
Bye, cuties.
Bye.